Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having a really good day. If this is your first time on my channel, my name is Sebastian and I welcome you guys with open arms. So this is of course a tea channel, but I also love to sprinkle in some story times because a lot of you guys love to hear them. So this is a story time. You guys, if you want tea, girl, there's so much tea. Literally yesterday I posted 5 videos. Today I'm posting like another 4. I got you covered, boo. But this is a story time, so grab a snack, grab a drink, and let's just get comfy and talk. So in my last story time, I asked you guys which story time you would want to hear next. And you guys voted, and you voted for I Dated My Best Friend's Dad. Now listen, this is a story from a very long time. I mean, I'm married now, right? This was when I was about 19 years old. So check this, okay? Now that I look back and I'm older, I'm like, how was that even allowed, right? So, okay, let's get comfy, bitch. Okay, so, all right. So I had a really good friend, right? And she and I developed such a great friendship, you guys. Like her and I, we were inseparable. We literally amazing friends. And we no longer talk, but anyways, that's another story. And it has nothing to do with her dad, by the way. We just don't talk. So anyways, I would go over her house quite a lot, of course, being best friends, would go out, to each other's houses. I would go to her house more because she just, I don't know, her house just was like so much, I don't know, cooler. Like her parents were never home. Like it was just like, cooler, right? So go to her house, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, we're hanging out, we're doing stupid shit, what you do at like 18, 19, I think it was, yeah, 19. Whatever, stupid shit, what you do. What do? You talk about boys, you watch music videos, you watch fucking movies, I don't know, bitch. So we would do the same thing. It was like every single day was the same thing. So, one day, I had already met her parents, like whatever. But one day, she calls me in to like her dad's office. And I go into her dad's office, and then she's basically, opening up to me about her dad. She says, Sebastian, I have to tell you, last night, my dad sat us down with my mom. Mind you, they're divorced, with my mom, and told me that he was gay. And that he was, finally himself, all these things. And, I'm like, oh, and this was some time ago, bitch. It's not as open now, but I mean, I have to give props to his ex or her mom because damn, like she really, like, she was there. I mean, obviously I wasn't there. I'm, listening to what she's saying, but they were both like there. They were like hugging each other and telling, her and her brother and all these things, and everything is like, whatever. And like she didn't have a problem with it. She just was weirded out for her mom, right? Like she didn't have a problem that her dad, was gay, but she just kind of didn't like the fact that him and the mom were together for like 16, 17 years. And like, he said that it's something that he buried deep inside, and that it's something that, he was very afraid to talk about or even to express. And he convinced himself that he didn't like, that he wasn't that way, and he wanted a traditional, life, whatever. So she just didn't like the fact that he lied. And then she became aware that she was very sad for him that he had to live a lie. So it was like she had a lot of conflicting, issues. And I, obviously, like, I comforted her, blah, blah, blah. And then, mind you, the man was maybe like, I was like, honestly, like 19, he was like 42, okay? Like, he was not young, right? Or, when back then. Hang on. I mean, he probably was like 44. I would say mid 40s. Let's say mid 40s. But he looked good. He looked good. Like he was in shape. Like he looked good. He didn't look 44, bitch. Now I'm like 44, girl. That's just around the corner, bitch. Anyways, and I'm embracing it, ho. Well, I mean, no, I'm not 44, but even if I was, bitch, I'll look focused. Anyway, so, you know, time passes, like, whatever. She doesn't really talk about it anymore. Like, actually, the dad and the mom, stayed living together for a while, like, for a year or two. He moved into, like, the guest room. You know, she stayed in their bedroom. They what is it? Renovated that whole house, like, and they became honestly like best friends. Like, the mom and the dad became best friends. Part of me, which I now think of, like, part of me maybe thinks the mom knew this whole time, and, like, you know, kind of, I don't know, I feel like maybe they had a pact that they would have children together. I have no idea. This is what I'm thinking, that, you know, why the mom was so easy, you know, because the really, oh, I mean, her brother did obviously have a very hard time, like, harder than anyone else. But the mom was just, like, super chill. Either she's on, like, a lot of Xanax, or she's just, like, the coolest chick ever. So, so some time passes. Hello? My husband got home. Did you bring me a present? Did you bring me a present? A present? Oh, wow. Good to know. Good to know. Okay, I'm gonna finish this story time. Okay, so, bitch, listen. So then, um, okay, so, you know, some time passes by, and this and that. And, like, you know, her and I obviously remain super good friends, like, all these things. Well, one night I'm at a gay bar, right? I'm at a gay bar. I'm having the time of my life. Mateo, what are you doing? Hang on. All right. So I'm at a gay bar. We're dancing. We're having a great time, bitch. And then in walks, you know, her dad. In walks her dad. And, you know, he comes up. He says hello. He's, like, there with a couple of his friends. And then this girl. And they're, or, like, you know, whatever. I don't know who they were. I guess just friends. And they were there. They were, you know, they sat, like, across from us. And it was just me and, like, a couple of friends. My girlfriend was not there. You know, his daughter. So, like, you know, we're drinking, and then he actually comes over and says, like, hey, next round is on me. And we're like, okay. It was just, like, me and, like, 2 or 3 friends. So he buys us a round, and it's, like, a lot, you know, buys us a round or 2. I think he said, like, just get them a couple drinks each, something like that. So we were like, oh, my God, okay. And then he went back to his friends, super chill. We were dancing, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, when I get drunk, I get very friendly and I get very talkative. So, of course, he's dancing with his friends, and I go up to him and I'm like, oh, thank you so much for the drinks. Like, just thank you. I don't remember. I just probably just said thank you. He's like, oh, no problem. Like, you know, you've always been so nice. You've always been so sweet. And thank you for helping, you know, my daughter with the situation. And I'm like, of course, yeah, whatever. And then, like, you know, I'm tipsy, and I'm like, oh, okay, what's happening? And so, anyways, go back to my friends. You know, we're chilling, we're dancing, and then I see that a couple of his friends are leaving, and then I'm like, oh, and then I go up to him and I'm like, hey, if you wanted to join us, like, that's totally cool. And then he was like, yeah, sure, why not? So he joined us, and then we were all, like, you know, dancing, and I was, like, literally telling my friends, like, his story, like, oh, you know, he's my best friend's dad, he just came out, like, all these things. And then he was, like, kind of, I don't know if he was embarrassed by it, but he was just, like, laughing. And then I don't remember the rest of that night, to be very honest. I do remember, though, that I got home with my friends, and then the next morning they were telling me how I was, like, you know, how I was like super overly like flirting with him, and I was like, and of course, you know, the next day, I mean, I was young and I was drunk and I was stupid, and I was like, what? And I felt so gross. And I actually told my friend immediately. Like, I told her immediately. I'm like, oh my God, I saw your dad and I think I was flirting. And then she, like, started laughing. Because the reason I told her was because I'm that type that, like, I have to tell. Like, I have to because I can't, you know? So I called her immediately. I was like, oh my God, are you sitting down? I think I flirted with your dad. But we had such a great relationship that, like, she just laughed about it. So it turns out that she, you know, she calls me later and she goes, hey, my dad had a really good time last night. And I was like, thank you, you know, no worries. And she was like, yeah, he had a really, really great time last night. Um, Thank you so much for helping him out of his shell. It was like only his second time at a gay bar. And like, you know, these people for me were very, very like, wow. I mean, I do know that, you know, the brother was having a very hard time. So she said like, hey, next time you go, I mean, she would always usually come with me, but she goes, next time you go, and my dad is out, I'll let you know, because I mean, obviously I don't want to party with my dad, but if you're out, you know, it'd be cool if he knows you were there. So I do that like the next time I go out. Her and we went out a couple of times, and then I went back with another group of friends to the gay bar, and I, you know, texted her and I was like, hey, I'm here, you know, if your dad is out or whatever, like. And she goes, he's in a business like party thing, but you know, he might stop. I don't know, he might stop by later or something. And then he did stop by later. He stopped by later, and then he came straight up to me, and he was already like drunk. Oh wait, I think it was a Christmas like work party. Like it was a work thing, and he was all dressed up with like you know, his like tie and like suit and all these things. And then you know, ever since I was a kid, I don't know about you guys, but I've always liked like older men. Like my husband is like the youngest I've ever dated, and he's only 2 months or 3 months younger than me. I've always really liked older men. I don't know if it's daddy issues, bitch, but probably. Okay. But you know, it was like, I don't know. I just always had like a like a daddy thing. Like, I don't know, bitch. Um, so when, you know, when he walks in with his suit, bitch, I was like, oh, okay, okay, all right. And then, you know, he comes up to me, gives me a hug, and then to be very honest with you guys, like, you know, I just found him so attractive. Like, I found him so attractive. I found him so cute. I found him so funny. I found him so, like, ready to live, like, you know, whatever. And, of course, the only thing I could think about was, like, you know, my best friend, my girlfriend. And I remember, like, you know, I was feeling these things. I can't tell you what he was feeling. But I just remember at some point we went out to have a cigarette, and he told me, he said, oh, I know, I asked him like something like, how's it like, you know, being, you know, out or whatever. And he's like, great, because I get to now flirt with boys, and I love that. And I was like, oh, nice, fun. And I'm like, have you guys, you know, met anybody or anything? He's like, there's a guy at work that we're sort of like, you know, talking and stuff, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, that's cool, that's cool. And he's like, yeah, but I can still see other boys. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I remember we just had like a moment where we were just looking at each other's eyes, and he's like, you know, if you weren't my daughter's best friend, I think I could kiss you right now. And I was like, and I mean, listen, do we not all fantasize about our teachers or like friends of parents? Is it just me? Do I need to go somewhere to get that checked? But you know, I immediately got like super like, you know, okay, daddy, you know what I mean? So so we like, you know, we danced and we talked, and you know, we just had a great time that night. And I could not stop thinking about it. And this I did not tell, of course, her, because I was like, I think he was very drunk, and I don't want to cause any situation. They're really cool, like with each other. Like, I don't want to be an issue or a problem. Well, bitch, it turns out that she sort of caught that I was asking a lot about her dad. Like, for example, she would invite me over. I would be like, oh, okay, cool. Is your dad home? You know, like, so, like, I think maybe I said a little too much. So one time she sits me down and she goes, Sebastian, I just need a yes or no answer, please. A yes or no answer. Just a yes or no answer. And I was like, okay. She goes, I'm not going to be mad. I'm not going to be mad. I'm not going to hate you. We're still going to be best friends. I just need to know, are you and my father sleeping together? And I was like, no. And in my head, I'm like, bitch, I wish. I was like, no, not at all. What makes you think that? And she goes, because you ask about him a lot. And I'm like, oh, no, but I mean, you know. And she goes, do you find him attractive? And I was like, I mean, yeah, your dad is pretty hot. But, like, we were, like, cool friends, right? So we can, like, you know. She goes, really? And I'm like, yeah. And she goes, so tell me, how does he behave, like, when he's out? Well, I've only seen him out twice. So, you know, I was like, no, he's honestly, like, the life of the party. He feels so free, blah, blah. And, like, in my head, I'm like, bitch, I could very easily be your new stepmom. You know what I mean? Or stepdad. You know what I mean? I'm like, right, bitch? I always knew that I could never, like, fully, obviously, do anything with him. I mean, it's her father, you know. It's like, obviously, I knew it, but I just found him so attractive, you guys. I found him so cute. And then I remember this one time he came home, like, to their house, and he invited me over to stay for dinner. And I stayed for dinner, blah, blah. And then it was around her birthday, so at the dinner we were planning her birthday party, which was going to take place at the house. And so the birthday party, I helped plan, of course, like, guest list and, like, you know, theme and blah, blah, blah. Like, it was fun. So that night, it was going to be, like, 30 of us, but only, like, 10 was going to sleep over. And so it was going to be, like, 30 of us, 10 were going to sleep over. And then they had, like, a basement that was sort of her and her brother's, like, play den. But, like, they're older, so, like, just, like, a really good TV, sound system, you know, like, couches, like, you know, blah, blah. So we were going to sleep down there, and then the party was going to be upstairs in the garden area. Garden and the indoor, like, living room area. So they open, like, this, like, I guess, like, the window from the living room to the garden, so you can, like, walk in and out. Pretty cute. And, like, these things with, like, fire, so it's, like, warm. It was really nice. Yeah, they have money, bitch. So that night, you know, of course, her dad is home, her mom is home, like, everyone's home, blah, blah, blah. Her brother, he's somewhere. He was so hot, too. He was just, like, this dark soul, you know, like, he was like a poet. I could tell he could write really good poetry. So we were drinking, we were partying, we were having a great time. And then, I just remember, like, her dad would always come in to the party, make sure everything was good, maybe get a beer, whatever, and then he would go back. Well, Sebastian got really drunk. And all I could think about was her fucking dad. Like, just her dad. Like, that's all I could think about, and I felt so bad. So I told a friend, right? I mean, he was publicly out, right? He was publicly out, so I wasn't, like, outing or anything. But I had to tell a friend because I just felt like I was being such a bad friend to my friend. So I told my friend, I was like, this is how I'm feeling. I don't know what to do. She goes, but Sebastian, you're not really feeling anything. You were drunk both times. You're drunk right now. You just find him hot, you know, sort of like Stacy's mom kind of thing. You find that her dad hot, whatever. I'm like, but am I being a bad friend? And she goes, I don't think you are. I mean, if you would be doing things with him behind her back, then probably yes. And so I just remember that I went upstairs to the bathroom. I mean, there's obviously, like, 2-3 bathrooms downstairs, but I went upstairs because I knew his office was right there. And then I walked by his office. He's just on the computer. Go to the bathroom. I walk back. He's on the computer. He doesn't even look up. And I said, hey, do you want me to bring you a beer? And he's like, yeah, sure, bring me a beer. And he's like, where's my daughter? She's having a good time. And I was like, yeah, she's having a great time. And he said, hey, come here, let me show you something. So he shows me something on the computer. It was like this program or something that he was working on, and I did not understand anything. But all I could look was just like him, like just him. Like he was wearing like this shirt, these like tight, cute pants, and I was just like, marry me now. Um, and so, bitch, listen, we did look. I mean, we did in fact kiss, and it was just there. It happened right there. It was so quick. He saw me staring at him. I wasn't even looking at the program. He saw me staring at him, and he just said, come on, kiss me. I know you want to. And I was like, okay. And we just kissed. We literally kissed. Well, one thing you should know about me, you guys, is I feel like I am sometimes a little too vocal about things. And we kissed. I very much enjoyed it. Like, just like, he was just a strong man, bitch. And he doesn't say anything to me. He says, all right, you got it out of your system? We're good? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, yeah, we're very good, he said. And I was like, okay. So I go downstairs, and I'm honestly like, well, first, I'm super happy. Second, I'm like, I'm, pregnant. And third, I feel horrible. Horrible for what I did, because she said if you were doing things behind my back, that would really upset me. I felt so bad. And guys, remember, I was supposed to sleep over. Well, I did not end up actually sleeping over because I felt so bad. I was drunk. I was super confused. So the next day, she actually calls me and says, why did you go? Like, why did you leave? Blah, blah, blah. Like this and that. And I was like, I don't know what I said. Probably said I got sick or something. And then she goes, you're weird. Why are you weird? You're weird. What happened? And she knew me. And I'm like, I think we need to meet. And she goes, ugh, please don't tell me you made out with my dad. And I was like, no, please don't tell me you had sex with my dad. I'm like, no, I didn't know. We did not. She goes, ugh, did you kiss him? And I was like, maybe. She goes, Sebastian, that is so disgusting. Ew. I just remember her like saying, Sebastian, he's my dad. You're my best friend. And right there, I was like, oh my God, she's so right. This is so wrong. Like, so wrong. And like, I started crying, and she goes, Sebastian, listen, it's okay. My dad is going through like a midlife gay crisis. Like, she was super cool. She goes, my dad's going through like this midlife gay crisis. You know, it is what it is, but promise me that you won't do anything else with him. And I was like, literally, the fact you're still talking to me, the fact that you even want to consider me to still be your friend, I promise you I won't even look at him anymore. She goes, no, it's okay. You're in his journey. Like, this is what he's trying, like, whatever. I guess she felt kind of like this man has been, like, he expressed it, living a life for so many years and not feeling free, that now that he has a chance, he's gonna live it up. So he had some living to do, and I was part of that living. And she was super cool. Like, she was super cool about it. She just really made me promise never to do anything again with him, because it was weird, because, I was her best friend. It's her dad, and I totally understood. And the really cool part about it is, like, when we would, like, I would go over and stuff, it was never really weird. It was just, like, well, him and I never talked about it again, ever again. It was never mentioned again. But it was just, like, a memory. I was like, I could have been the bitch's stepdad, I really could have been her stepdad. And you know what the worst part is, bitch? The reason we're not talking, it has nothing to do with her dad, okay? And that's a story I'm not going to get into, because that is so unpleasant for me to even remember. But that's probably one of the craziest things I've ever done. Craziest things I've ever done is kiss my best friend's dad. I feel like maybe if it wasn't her, like if I wasn't her best friend, I do think that we could have dated or done some more. But also, I feel like he was so desperate to live, and he was so desperate to to try everything that I don't think he would have anyways wanted. And for me, honestly, like, age is really, really not important. Like, if I have, like, a connection with you, like, I'm good. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I felt like, you know, I felt good. But, um, but yeah, that was my little story. It was fun. Good kisser. Probably, honestly, I have this, like, feeling, really, that I would have been the bitch's stepdad. Can you imagine? Can you imagine your best friend becoming your stepdad or stepmom? That's some fucked up shit. But anyways, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this very messy story time. I do have to admit I am super chill right now. It's because I have the worst migraine ever. So you guys know that I'm usually a lot louder and like a lot messier, but I just have the horrible migraine. So I hope I did okay. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. And have a beautiful, beautiful day. And let me know in the comments what type of story times you guys want me to talk about. Do you want me to talk about scary story times? Do you want me to talk about travel story times? Let me know in the comments. I love you guys so much. And thank you. Also, I don't really talk too much about my hubby and I. And it's because we have decided to leave our, you know, relationship out of YouTube. You know what I mean? But anyways, I love you guys so much. Have a beautiful day and thank you for watching. Mwah.